Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself today. I also have these 3 necklaces that I'll be doing random triggers with. This one reminds me of Fruit Loops, but it is wooden beads, different colors. This one is a metal with all these little dangling beads. And the third one is another wood ring and beads. So, and I just have everything laid out on an old scarf I have. So, I've also asked that if you have any true life stories that you would like to share, please feel free. I would love to have you send those in, and I will read them. I can do paper sounds and writing with different things, pencils, pens, markers. So, yeah, please send those in. emptynestasmr@gmail.com. So, I'll go ahead and start with a little bit about me and my story. So, I have 3 spirits that are with me all the time. I also understand that there are people who won't agree with me and who will think I'm crazy or making things up, but that's okay. You're allowed your opinion. Yeah, so if anyone comments on here, just please be respectful of other people, because I know I'm not the only person out there who has these experiences. So, my 3 spirits. I have seen one, and the way I see spirits, they come together with energy dots. That's the only way I can explain it. The best way I can describe it is the fuzz on television. Of course, you'd have to be old enough to understand when the television went off at night and it would just play the fuzzy screen. But that kind of thing, or if you close your eyes really hard, if you see those little dots of light, you can see them in different colors. I know I do. And those kind of come together and they formed one of my spirits. And it wasn't scary when I saw him. It wasn't intimidating. It was just very calm and peaceful. So that happened when I was about 6 or 7 years old. And basically, I know they've been there with me my entire life, but that was the first time I've seen them. So, a few experiences I've had where they have manifested themselves to me. Not in a way that I saw them, but I felt them. One was, I was in the car with my mom and my sister. And I had always been the one who was very adamant about everyone wearing seatbelts. And on this particular day, we had gone down to the store. It was raining. It was the day of my cousin's wedding. And we had to pick up something for my sister. Like I said, I was the person who was adamant about everyone wearing seatbelts. I hadn't put my seatbelt on immediately after leaving the store and getting in the car. Surprisingly, my mom and my sister both had. They had put their seatbelts on. We were just barely up the road, and it was heading up a hill. And I reached over with my left arm, because I was in the front passenger seat, and grabbed for the seatbelt when a man pulled. It was either a truck or a van. I don't remember. This happened in the early 1990s, so possibly late 80s. He pulled his van or truck out of his driveway right in front of us. We were going probably around 35, 40 miles an hour, easily. And it was raining, as I said. I remember my mom saying something. It was probably like, "Don't do it." But I just remember letting go of the seatbelt and putting my hands in front of me by the dashboard to brace myself for the impact. When we hit, because my mom didn't even have a second, it seemed, to apply her brakes. When we hit, all I remember about that moment was being very warm, and my hands never touched the dash. I never touched the windshield. I was very gently and very warmly put back into my seat because I had come forward a little bit. But I remember very gently being sat down back in my seat. And it still gets to me, just telling it. Wow. So I got out of the car. My mom and my sister were just stunned. The man got out of his vehicle and had run into his home, and I followed him. He had hit his window and cut his head open. He had had his seatbelt on, I believe, from what I remember. Everyone in our car was fine. Like I said, it's incredible sometimes how things happen. That actually made me a little emotional. I apologize. Another time that is very, very emotional for me happened after my grandma had passed away. I adore my grandma. My grandpa was one of the best men I've ever known. He passed away a few years prior to her. And then she passed away. Now, like I said, I don't see all of my spirits, but I know there are 3. And I know they've been with me my entire life because of this instance after my grandma passed. It was approximately 2 days. You know, it was the same day we had her funeral. I just remember feeling not just sad, but I felt empty. And then the days following, I had this feeling of complete loneliness, something I've never in my life experienced before. And it's something that I can't imagine feeling every day, or I feel bad for people who don't know that they have their spirits with them, if that is the kind of sadness or loneliness they feel. It brings a whole new meaning to lonely for me. So I knew my spirits had left me, and it's my belief that they went to greet my grandmother. I believe they were there to meet her spirit after she passed. I'm not a religious person, but I'm very spiritual, and I 100% believe that our energy doesn't die. But when they left, it was absolutely and utterly the most empty I've ever felt in my life. For a few days, I was just completely distraught. We had a function for my daughter, and I was just in tears. I couldn't handle it. So, anyway, yeah, they came back. Sorry, kind of emotional. They finally came back, and regardless of other people who've passed away, before and after, I have never felt that before, and I really hope I never feel it again. Although I probably will. But it's just good to know that there are beings watching out for me. And there are other instances, but those are the two most profound for me. Hope that wasn't too boring for you. I know it's short, but like I said, I would love to read any stories that you have that you would like to share. They can be true life. They can be about you. They can be paranormal. They can be hauntings. They can be true life crime. Of course, this one was soft-spoken. I also like whispers very much. But anyway, please let me know what you think. Let me know if you actually listened to this whole story, and share with me your stories, because I really want to get to know you. I know my stories. I want your stories. And thank you so much for listening.